I think that the point of it is, when you get an email in, step one is exactly what Aldo was talking about, which is one, let's look at the lawyers who referred it to us. What are they all about, right? Because that'll tell us what is most interesting for them, maybe. It looks like there were two things, construction and intellectual property.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, and one was litigation. So it's kind of, maybe that tells us something, maybe it doesn't.
But it can tell you more. For example, if these lawyers are both specialized only in intellectual property, maybe you can understand that maybe they advise the clients to look for a good protection of its intellectual property rights. So maybe this can be a topic we have to talk more inside our email. In this case, it didn't give so much information to us. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, that's right. And, I mean, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that obviously looking at the company, but the point is, before we respond, we want to at least figure out, like an investigator, like a detective, what is it that they want? You know, and when and by that I just want to give you one small story. When I was a law student, we had to make presentations before the judge, and that was before whoever was going to act as the judge. And I had to do it in an appellate court setting, so those American guys probably remember that, or people who went to the American system. And I was one of those people that had all this stuff prepared, all these arguments. I had them highlighted in different colors. We didn't have PowerPoints back then, this a million years ago, but we had it in different colors. I had it in everything, and I was ready to explain and show how smart I was to the judge. But what I failed to do is listen to the questions the judge is asking me. That's the most important thing. All that other stuff, all my preparation, nonsense. I have to respond to what the person's asking me, and that makes it successful. And that's what they taught me in school. It's the same thing here. These are our judges. The guy who is sending us the email is our judge. And we need to answer their question. And we need to do two things. One is to answer their questions and then tell them the stuff they don't know enough to ask us about. Okay, that's really the primary situation. And again, some of this is style and some of it is approach. But the amount of due diligence, how long did it take you to do all that? I mean, just for the due diligence, meaning look into the background.
20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes. So it's kind of, rather than just firing out an email, responding to the guy, look at it and be thoughtful about it, and then that's helpful. There was some, just so you know, Aldo, was one misspelling in there at strength that I saw. I don't know if anyone else saw it.
Also, Aldo, not too much detail, just too much detail.
Detail, yeah, I wrote that down as well. Yeah, so that was just constructive criticism for us all, and fantastic. I thought it was a fantastic presentation, and it was unbelievable as far as all those animations or animations, whatever the right term is. Anybody else with some questions? Yes.
I would ask if we want to refuse him for some special reasons, and also we want to keep a close relationship with them, so how refuse them? Yeah,
good question. If you want to refuse them, I mean, right now we don't want to. I guess we don't know enough to refuse them. I understand. I guess. I mean, you go ahead and answer that. But
yeah, I think that. No particular reasons can lead us to unless the business maybe it's illegal. So in that case we can just answer that.
We'll still
even if it's illegal, we'll try to how to make it legal or something. But that's the point. I mean, the point is we have to try to be there to help. I mean, we've all been involved in crazy, Christina Urbanski cases, and who else? What other crazy cases? Junbo's got John Gage right now. We have a lot of crazy clients. But I think sometimes it's our obligation as lawyers to take some of this stuff on. But we have to give them boundaries. They're like, sometimes clients are a little bit like children, and so we have to give them boundaries on which to act and tell them what's right and what's wrong and how far we can go and how far we can't go. So I think we have to give boundaries to those people as well. But no, very good question. Yeah. Anything, Matthew? Any comments on it? Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask, so when shall we give the exact information? Shall we give the exact information after we have signed the agreement?
No, I mean, I already provided exact information, but I haven't been so detailed in giving this information because this is not a legal opinion, just a free email we answered. And so with the second email you can see his intentions and you can evaluate whether to give more information or not, if he's really interested in signing this return agreement or not. So at the beginning I suggest to be accurate, but also not so, not to go so deep inside in the direction of the exact answer. I mean, giving so much information.
Yeah, you know, part of it is it's like the girl wearing the miniskirt. It's got to cover the essential parts, but doesn't want to cover too much. You see what I mean? I mean, because you want to get the client interested, like just like the girl, I guess. But you don't want to show off too much because it hasn't paid for it yet, so to speak. So the idea is to show our competence, our friendliness, and make a good impression, but not show too much, because it also may complicate the people, because these are just common people. The one thing I would also do is I would write a thank you letter. Maybe we didn't mention this, to the legal firm. Yeah, so you just make contact with them, or you want to copy them maybe in this email. You might see if they want to get involved in the process. You know, just some other positive things like that. You might send them an email independent of your explanation to the client. So just to keep in contact, because it's all about networking and making friends and showing people that you're competent. That's the whole thing. But I think sometimes that we have a disconnect. A lot of times we're just repeating laws and regulations to people. We have to answer the judge's question. You see what I mean? We can't just have all these great arguments like I did as a student. I'm going to tell you how smart I am, man. I'm going to tell you the law all over the place. He doesn't want to hear the law. He knows the law. Everybody knows the law. And so the issue is just answer the questions that they're asking you and try to tell them stuff that they're not smart enough yet, because they're not in China, to ask those questions as well. That's the whole thing. Good. Any other comments, Andrew? Anything?
Well, I want to
go ahead.
That
Alice.
If the information provided by the client is not exactly the same that you find on the net or by other resources, then shall we reply to them based on the information they provided, or based on the information we got on our phone?
Good question. Hopefully it's going to be sort of accurate and true. But no, you're right. I mean, remember, there's everybody's got their own version of what they think reality is. I mean, you know, what I think is reality might be different from what Aldo thinks is reality. Obviously, what you want to do is you want to trust what they're saying, whatever that is in the letter, but you want to verify that stuff as best as you can. So as the relationship goes on, it's just like, Alice, if you were to try to find a boyfriend, and one boyfriend is like, oh, I'm really smart, I'm really good, I'm really make a lot of money, my parents are rich, and then later you find out, well, that's not really true. So then you have to change your adjustment about what to think about that boy, and whether he should be your boyfriend, I guess. It's the same with the client. So the client may be saying one thing, and we've seen this many times, right, guys? Westpac is a good example. Whoever's working on Westpac, they're saying to us one story, and I think they even believe that story. But the truth is something completely different. Precision Instruments is another one, right, John?
Premier Diagnostics.
Premier Diagnostics is another one. They honestly believe something, but it really turns out they're like a piebald gomser. They're all waiting for something to happen.
He responded to that.
Oh, he did? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it was very positive. So it happens, Alice, all the time. Anything, May? Anything, QD?